Most people believe discipline is something you either have or you don't. A genetic gift, a personality trait, a moral strength. And if you lack it, the conclusion feels obvious. You are weak. But what if that belief itself is the real weakness? What if discipline, as you understand it, is not only misunderstood, but fundamentally unnatural to the human brain? What if every time you failed to stay consistent, it wasn't because you were broken, but because you were fighting millions of years of biological programming with nothing but guilt and motivation? Tonight, we're not going to motivate you. We're not going to shame you. And we're definitely not going to sell you willpower. We're going to expose how discipline actually works. Quietly, mechanically, inevitably, when you stop fighting your mind and start designing around it. If you're here to understand yourself, instead of blaming yourself, subscribe. This channel is for people who prefer clarity over comfort. Discipline feels hard because it is hard, not morally, but biologically. Your brain did not evolve to chase long-term goals, abstract ambitions, or future versions of yourself. It evolved to keep you alive today. For most of human history, survival depended on conserving energy, avoiding unnecessary effort, and seizing immediate rewards whenever they appeared. Food now was better than food later. Rest now was safer than risk. Comfort now meant survival. This ancient logic still governs your nervous system. When you try to wake up early, your brain interprets it as danger. When you choose training over rest, it flags energy loss. When you sit down to study, write, or build something difficult, your mind immediately searches for easier stimulation, because ease equals safety. This is not a flaw. It is efficient design. The modern world, however, demands the opposite behavior: consistency, focus, delayed gratification, repetition without immediate reward. And that creates an internal war. On one side, a brain optimized for short-term survival. On the other, a society demanding long-term performance. Most people try to resolve this conflict with willpower. They push harder, shame themselves, promise they'll be better tomorrow. But willpower is a finite resource, and biology always wins. When fatigue sets in, the brain defaults to autopilot, and autopilot always chooses the easiest path. This is why motivation fades. This is why discipline collapses. And this is why most people feel trapped in cycles of starting strong and failing quietly. The mistake is not lack of effort. The mistake is misunderstanding the enemy. Your brain is not rational. It is economical. It does not ask, what will help me in 5 years? It asks, what costs the least energy right now? Until you accept this, you will keep fighting yourself and losing. True discipline does not begin with force. It begins with respect for biological reality. People love the idea of self-control because it feels heroic. But self-control is fragile. Environment is powerful. Every decision you make is influenced by what is visible, accessible, and immediate. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is wired to respond to proximity. The couch beats the gym because it's closer. The phone beats the book because it's faster. Distraction beats focus because it's frictionless. This is why discipline collapses inside poorly designed environments. You are not choosing between good and bad. You are choosing between easy and difficult. And the brain chooses easy, quietly, automatically, without asking permission. This is what behavioral psychology calls choice architecture, the invisible structure that shapes decisions before conscious thought even enters the room. When disciplined people look consistent, it's not because they're stronger. It's because their environment removes negotiation. They don't wake up and decide to do the right thing. The wrong option simply isn't convenient. Clothes prepared. Distractions hidden. Triggers aligned. Discipline becomes a default, not a battle. The mistake most people make is trying to change behavior while keeping the same environment that created the problem. That is self-sabotage disguised as self-improvement. Real discipline is preparation, not effort. Design, not motivation. Structure, not strength. When the environment is correct, behavior follows effortlessly. And when it isn't, even the strongest intentions collapse. Procrastination is one of the most misunderstood human behaviors. It is not laziness. It is not lack of ambition. It is not a character flaw. It is a signal. A signal that the action you're trying to perform is poorly designed. The brain avoids tasks that are vague, effort-heavy, unrewarding, or emotionally uncomfortable. Not out of rebellion, but efficiency. This is why habits succeed or fail based on 4 invisible rules. Behavior must be obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. When any of these are missing, resistance appears. Most people violate all 4, then blame themselves. They hide the habit, make it painful, demand too much, reward nothing. And when failure happens, they call it weakness. But when behavior is engineered correctly, action becomes automatic. This is where habit stacking matters. You don't build discipline from nothing. You attach it to something that already exists. Existing routines become anchors. New actions become extensions. Momentum replaces effort. And when momentum takes over, identity begins to shift. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" You start acting before doubt appears. That is the quiet advantage. Discipline is not the goal. It is the symptom. The real transformation happens when identity changes. Every small action is a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. And over time, those votes compound. Disciplined people don't rely on motivation. They rely on alignment. Their systems match their identity. Their environment supports their standards. Their habits reinforce who they believe they are. This is quiet power, not force, not aggression, not obsession, control. The ability to act regardless of mood. The ability to design life so the right choice requires the least resistance. You don't need to love discipline. You need to make avoidance expensive. You don't need passion. You need structure. And when structure is correct, discipline stops being a struggle. It becomes inevitable. If this changed how you see discipline, stay. This channel isn't about motivation. It's about understanding the machinery beneath human behavior. Comment the first habit you'll redesign, not for validation, but commitment. Quiet power is built privately,